first step is to apply an eyeshadow primer on the lids. I'm also applying a little bit of this underneath the eye since we will have some product there. And then I'm prepping the crease with a shade that matches my skin tone to make blending a little bit easier. This is MAC's Blanc Type. And the first eyeshadow I'm using is MAC's Typographic. This is a very light, smoky, grayish black shade, perfect for building up a smoky eye look, especially like this one, because it's not too dark and we can apply a little bit. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm using a fluffy brush to apply it so that the color disperses more evenly, not packing it onto the lid just yet. And of course, Michelle Pfeiffer's eyes were very cat eye-like. So what we're doing is we're creating the shape that extends out to the outer corners of the eyes. I'm also making sure to blend along the edges as I go so that there aren't any harsh lines hanging around. And next I'm taking MAC's Carbon. This is a deep, dark black eyeshadow, and this is going to help really darken up the look. I'm packing this onto the lid with the MAC 239 brush over where I've already applied Typographic. And the other thing that using Typographic does in this look is that it creates a smooth base to apply Carbon onto. If you were going to apply Carbon directly onto your eyes, you could end up packing too much on. It could become streaky, but when you apply an eyeshadow on before it, it makes the application much more even looking. And you may have already noticed that I'm starting to bring some of the eyeshadow into the inner corners also. And if you study her eyes, the eyeshadow blended into the mask a little bit more. So where that mask comes down the nose, the eyeshadow almost meets it there. So I'm using the MAC 239 brush to bring that color into the inner corner. And the lines on the inner corners were also much more sharp than the lines that were on the outer portions of the eyes. So I'm not worried too much about blending on the inner portion there. Her lower lash line was also very much rimmed with either a black eyeshadow or a black eyeliner. I couldn't tell which, but to create that real smoky effect, I'm using MAC's Carbon here also with a small smudger brush. I'm also connecting this line to the inner corners and extending it out from the outer corners of the eye into the outer V area. False eyelashes were not used in this look, probably because the eyes were so dramatic by themselves, they weren't really needed. So I'm curling my lashes here and applying a simple waterproof mascara. This is the one from Makeup Forever. It's the Smokey Extravagant Aqua. And I am applying this onto the upper lashes only. I am not applying any of this onto the lower lashes. For the brows, I initially wanted to do a black brow because I thought that's what she had done, but it isn't. Her brows were the same as her own natural hair color, and Michelle Pfeiffer had light blonde hair at this time, I believe, so they were very similar to what my own natural brow color is, so that's what I'm using here. I'm using the Laura Mercier Brow Defining Gel in Fair. And her brows were extended a little further at the ends, so that's what I'm doing here also. Then I'm applying my concealer. This is from MAC. It's their Prolongwear concealer in the shade NC15. I'm using a damp beauty blending sponge to blend that in. And then I'm applying the MAC Prolongwear foundation in the shade NW13. Using the MAC 128 brush to blend this into my skin. I'm applying a little bit more than usual because I want heavy coverage on my face. So Batman Returns was filmed in the 90s, so a lot of the makeup techniques that were popular then were used in her look. Her face was very matte. To get that really matte face, I'm using a translucent powder from Ben Nye with the damp beauty blending sponge and packing it onto the face. Matte skin. And we can't forget the red lips because Catwoman had these bright red lips. I'm first lining the lips with a lip liner from NYX. This is in the shade Hot Red. And then I filled in the lips with Chanel's number 444 Gabrielle. And after that was all done, I went back and used a little bit of my concealer to sharpen up the lines around the mouth and clean up any edges. And for Catwoman's claws, I purchased these little beauties off of eBay. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.